Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me. I want to continue my discussion on the triumphant entry of Donald Trump and all the successes that he has ensued thus far. However, everyone is not in support of many of the policies and many of the actions that Trump is trying to accomplish. One in particular is the idea of deporting the illegals back to their homeland. Okay, that is a major problem, and it's a major problem for one particular mayor, Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago. During a press interview, I believe he was asked, what would he basically, and I'm paraphrasing the question before I read the actual article and the excerpt from this article, do you support Trump deporting criminals in your city? And I almost was about to say Biden, but instead of Mayor Brandon Johnson giving a straightforward answer like, yes, we do, these are criminals that need to go, he doesn't do that. Typical political nonsense, okay? And he basically summarizes his answer as what Trump is trying to instill fear. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to give you my opinion on this whole idea of Trump trying to instill fear, because I agree with him. Trump is instilling fear, but I'm about to tell you who that fear is actually applicable to, all right, after I read this article. But let's get right into this madness and this insanity. This communist, Brandon Johnson, who has invaded the city of Chicago and given these people a living hell. Let's get right into this, okay? I'm trying my best to be professional, but you all know I do not like these communists. I don't. He's a communist. Let's go on. Brandon Johnson is. In Tuesday's broadcast of NPR's Morning Edition, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson responded to a question on whether he would support deportation raids that focused on people with criminal convictions by stating that, quote, this has happened under previous administrations, whether it's President Obama or President Biden. This is not anything new. I think what the president is attempting to do is to create fear and tension in this country. And that's not what we need right now. Of course, typical political rhetoric. Co-host A. Martinez asks Mayor quickly. He's asked this question. He says, Mayor, quickly, about 30 seconds. If these raids were to focus on people with criminal convictions, would you support that? 30 seconds. That's all this man had to do. I'm going to read to you a portion of what this clown said. Yeah, I said it because he's a clown. I'm going to read to you a portion of what this clown said, who calls himself a mayor. Because all he had to do was simply answer the question. It's not a hard question. It's not, you don't have to analyze much. It's a pretty simple, straightforward question. Yes, we do support that, because I'm not in support of criminals in our city. They're causing all kinds of hell for the residents and so forth. I'm not in support of that. They need to go. This just goes to show you what his real intentions really is. This is this guy's answer. Johnson responded, well, again, those individuals will be subject to the law. He can't give you a simple yes or no, right? So we're and the federal law provides that type of investigation. I don't know if that's a misspelling or what. Remember, this has happened under previous administrations, whether it's President Obama or President Biden. Notice, as I read an excerpt of what he supposedly actually said, notice how he actually diverts from the actual question. 30 seconds, what does he do? He gives all this nonsense. It's clear to me that a lot of these politicians, they have to rehearse what they're saying. These guys have to rehearse how to answer questions to divert from giving the real answer. They have to rehearse this. They have to be trained to do this, because no one with any kind of brain or cognitive abilities would answer a question that way. It's a really simple answer. Let's read on. These people are disgusting. He says, this is not anything new. I think what the president is attempting to do is to create fear and tension in this country and already, and that's not what we need right now. We need someone who's going to be committed to standing up for working people. And Trump isn't. Man, don't make me say something I shouldn't say on this channel. And Trump isn't. Your own people, Brandon Johnson, is crying out to you. I've seen video after video after video after video of black people getting up in the city hall or wherever they was at and complaining about the policies that you are pushing. And you stand up there with your hands in your pocket, with your glasses on, almost with a smirk on your face, bro. Like, I don't give a damn what these people think, what they feel. I have a communist agenda, and I'm going to push that communist agenda. I pray by God's grace that these people vote this man out of office. He has done enough damage to that city. Thank God. Thank God. He is not the mayor of my city. We already got a progressive Democratic mayor, and he's a hell in himself. But he's nowhere near as bad as Brandon Johnson. There is no way I will put up with this. I pray and fast and seek the face of God, but when I'm not at work, I will gather some people to protest against that man. God in heaven knows I will. There is no way I would sit in silence and let that man destroy my city and destroy the people that I love. The devil is a lie. Let's go on. That man is terrible. Standing up for working people. He continues, that's what I'm doing in Chicago, building more affordable homes. Yeah, at tax. I'm not going to get into the affordable home bull crap. That's communist talk. That's how progressive Democrats talk all the time. Affordable housing. And how has that really helped? Regular housing goes up. The cost of housing goes up because it is affordable housing that these progressive Democrats keep pushing for. Let's go on. Creating opportunities for our young people. Like what? Robbing stores? What opportunities is he creating for young people? Where? I mean, I don't know. I'm not from Chicago. Somebody tell me from Chicago, put it in the box if you are for Brandon Johnson. I hope you're not. But if you are, if you're blind enough to be for him, and I'm just going to be real with you, if you're blind enough to be for him, put it in the box, the comment box, and let me know what opportunities that Brandon Johnson is making for young people in this city. Please let me know. Please let me know. Please. Please. Okay? He goes on, providing more access to health care, particularly behavior and mental health care. And all of those investments have driven crime down in our city. Now, whether or not that's true or not, I can't even say. Look, I'm not there. But a lot of these politicians, they're good at gaslighting. You saying this is driving crime down, but yet regular people, regular Joe Schmoes, are catching hell. Really, sir? Let's go on. That's how we build a better, stronger city, he continues, and that's how we provide a more inclusive economy. A more inclusive economy. Notice what it says, a more inclusive economy. What do you mean by a more inclusive? What do you mean by that? Who the heck cares about an inclusive economy? What the American people want is a good economy where the inflation is not sky freaking high. That's what they want. Who the HELL cares about an inclusive economy? Brandon Johnson, shut up. I know you ain't watching this video. I know you're not. But if you are, I'm going to say it to you, bro. Shut your freaking mouth. You sound like an idiot. Inclusive economy. You don't sound professional. You sound like a fool. He goes on. Let's finish what this moron says. That's what this president should be focusing on in this moment. I'm through. I'm through. I'm through. Thank God. Thank God I didn't have to sit up here and listen to that man talk. It was hard for me reading what he had to say, let alone sitting and listening to him audibly. Okay. Here's the deal. Brandon Johnson, anybody that would know, is in terms of his policies, is a total dismal failure for the city of Chicago. The man is a failure, bro. My sisters and my brothers. He's a failure for the city of Chicago. The Chicago residents have made that clear in many of these town hall meetings that they have had. They have cried out against this man. They have spoke against his policies. They have spoke against him protecting these illegals. And this interviewer simply asked him a fundamentally easy question. And he gives all this rhetoric. What was one of the things he said that really stood out to me, though, said that Trump is trying to provoke fear. He's trying to invoke fear, okay? And we don't need that. Let me tell you this right now. As I said earlier, I agree with him. I agree that Trump is trying to cause fear. I agree. I totally agree with you, Mr. Brandon Johnson. But guess what? Guess what? The question that your answer leads to, that your statement leads to, is inevitably fear in reference to who? The residents of Chicago? The real residents of Chicago, the native-born residents of Chicago, or the illegals? I say the illegals. The illegal criminals. Trump is definitely trying to provoke fear in their hearts. So yes, Mr. Brandon Johnson, I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. Trump is trying to invoke fear, but it ain't fear to the American people. It's fear to the in reference to the illegals. They need to be afraid. They need to self-deport like a lot of them are doing, because they know the man means business. He has already put 1,500 signing order that would basically put 1,500 U.S. soldiers at the southern border, I believe. So he's like, I mean business, man. I mean business. I mean business. And those who need to fear are the illegals. So I agree, Brandon Johnson. Once in a blue moon, I'll agree with him. And this is one of those blue moons. Blue moon. Do, 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 do. This is one of them blue moons, sir. I agree with you. The illegals are the ones that need to be afraid. Be afraid, illegals. Be very afraid. Because he's coming for you. He's coming for the criminals. He's coming for the gang members. He's coming for the murderers. He's coming from the RAPISTSs. He's coming for you. Okay? You need to be self-deporting right now. You need to fear. You need to be afraid. You need to be trembling in your boots, trembling all over. And I ain't talking about from the cold, bro. You need to be afraid. So Brandon Johnson, I agree. I agree, homie. I agree, bro. Brandon Johnson, if you're watching this, and I know you're not, but just chances are, if you're watching it, you are so intelligent, man. You are so intelligent. Woo, man, where did you get your degree from? Where did you get your degree from, man? You are so intelligent when you said that Trump is trying to provoke fear. You are, man, the amount of research that you had to have engaged in to come up with that answer is just, I'm going to imagine had to have been phenomenal, had to have been excessive. Oh my God. And I agree with you, Brandon. I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. But the problem is, the only people that's going to be afraid is the illegals that you're protecting. That's who's going to be afraid, bro. So all this rhetoric that he's saying and that Brandon Johnson is yipping and yapping about is a bunch of BS. Okay? You need to do what you need to do, bro, to get them up out of there. Because the Grim Reaper is coming. The Grim Reaper is coming for your city. The Grim Reaper is coming for these illegals, these criminals who have snipped the lives of innocent Americans. The Grim Reaper is coming for you. Be afraid. Be afraid. Okay? Yeah, that's what I had to say about that. I agree 100%, Mr. Brandon Johnson. You communist moron. I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. Be afraid, illegals. Be afraid, illegal criminals. Be very, very afraid. But that's what I had to say about that. What do you guys think about what Brandon Johnson said? You agree? You disagree? You think Trump is trying to provoke fear? Or do you think he's not? Whatever you think, whatever your opinion is, you know what my opinion is. I already stated it. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.